Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Fired up.
Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone had a safe, fun Memorial weekend with friends and family. A lot of hot dogs, hamburgers, a bunch of unhealthy food, all the above. Dina, can you make sure the chat's open? Perfect. So, good morning. Good morning. Can you believe, Harry? It's almost half the year is gone. Good morning, Mr. Shealy, Sonia, some of our quick start people. We'll be announcing it pretty soon. I know Carl Schule's on here. Harry, you don't know this yet, but we're going to do an all-day Saturday workshop with Carl. It will be a paid workshop. So, guys, a full day with Carl and how we go, because people have been asking me about the rehabs, all the above. The other thing is, and we'll have more announcements as we let people hop in, is that we have an in-person event Saturday at Nova University. It's free, so it's not just for students, for anybody, if you're local. And I almost want to spank everyone because we get calls all the time. When are you gonna have in-person events? When are you gonna have in-person events? Oh, no, yep,
Let's turn off the music.
yep, got it. Yep. So, one of the things that's been, you guys have been telling us, and we've been, getting a lot of feedback. When are you guys gonna have more in-person events? So we do have something Saturday that's in person. Again, with Carl Shealy. We're gonna do an all-day workshop. We're still working out the details on time or afterwards. So that'll be something out there that's coming up. And you guys got to show up, because like a lot of you guys are registering for the in-person events and you guys aren't showing up. So I could tell you, like I don't know, I'm just trying to think like the last event we had like 25, 30 people sign up and only three or four people showed up. I could tell you that, a lot of you guys say you want to change your life. And then what are you guys doing? Right? And they're free. So I don't know what the answer is on that. These events cost me money besides my time. So again, make sure you show up Saturday, bring your friends. Again, I love doing these events. I love doing the webinars all the way through. So it's always a great part of the event. And let me give me 1 second here as we hop it in there. And we do have some announcements too. So we'll go ahead and get situated with that also. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking about Alexa, so it's been about a month. I did have a good conversation with her yesterday. She loves being a mom, and she said, "Please let everyone know I miss you guys and all the above." So again, so we got some announcements that are coming up. Today we're going to do the 20 real estate wealth plans out there. And the first thing you want to do, we do have a raffle alert. So I am giving a 1 year membership away. So make sure you text the word membership to 954-800-6961. So if you are already a member, what I'm going to tell you is we'll just extend your membership, guys. So, and I think I'm probably going to do a membership webinar pretty soon. You guys got to take advantage of Home Depot. Our members spent in South Florida close to $7 million last year. So it's a lot of free money, especially if you're already spending money at Home Depot, Camel Plan, self-directed IRAs, Rent Perfect. We want you to start using these benefits besides coming into our quarterly meetings for free. There are a ton of benefits out there, and they've added a few more benefits also. So again, go ahead and text the word membership to 954-800-6961. Also, if you want to receive updates on events, make sure you text BPM to 954-800-6961. This way you can keep in track. Also, we obviously are sending a ton of emails out there also. We do have our next quick start dates. So our next quick start will be August 1st and 2nd. It's via Zoom, cameras on, and we're gonna have four special guests, and it's A to Z how to flip a house. So you're not gonna want to miss it. We do have a bonus also for early bird. So, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. It's 695 for members, 895 for non-members. Also, if you're interested in the quick start, Vina, can you put the poll up just to see who's interested in our quick start? Again, it's via Zoom, cameras on, it's a money back guarantee out there, and you're gonna love it. Also, if some of you guys want to become a BPM member, we do have vendor sponsorships and individual memberships. Our individual membership is 295 bucks. It's good for 1 year, and as I mentioned, you get discounts at Rent Perfect, which is tenant screening, our in-person meetings, our quick start. There's a membership price and a non-member price. So we have a ton of different things out there that you're going to want to become a member. And thank you for guys for answering the poll. And go ahead and answer the poll for our memberships if you guys are interested. And then, of course, we have a one-on-one mentoring program. So what I'll talk about even today is our one-on-one mentoring program, where I put up 100% of the money for the deals, guys, and we profit share. So I don't know anyone else that's out there doing anything like us out there. So go ahead and you're going to want to eventually book a discovery call. So if you actually go to bpmria.com, you're going to want to book a discovery call, spend 30 minutes with me. Let's see if you're a good fit for BPM RIA, and let's see if I'm a good fit for you. Again, I put up 100% of the money for the deals, and we profit share. So it's without a doubt one of the coolest programs out there. I don't know anyone else that's doing what I do out there. So thanks for answering the poll as you guys are going in there. And we'll still keep the poll up there. One of the things that we also offer is third-party funding. So a lot of people are actually funding their education through our third party, which is Pathway Financial. It is a soft credit pull. They do offer 0% interest rate. And it's a quick response, guys. So see how much you qualify. If you actually do this right, some of our students are getting approved with Pathway Financial. They're paying for their education, and then I'm putting up 100% of the money for the deals, right? So imagine the amount of leverage to be able to not only learn and to do deals too. So again, you just want to take out your phone and go ahead and scan the QR code. Again, there's no cost for applying also. And then, of course, we want to go ahead and thank all our sponsors with National RIA, our local sponsors, our vendor partners in South Florida. Again, we can't do this without you. We always love the support that we get from our team also. So those are our announcements. As I said, we're hoping to have Alexa come back. I think we're saying probably the end of July. So, which will be pretty exciting for me, and she'll be able to come back and be part of the team, and it should be pretty exciting too. So, we're gonna go ahead and close the polls, and today we're gonna get started. Give me 1 second here while we get these things working here. All right, here we go. So, and you can see my screen, Harry, right? Am I good?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
good.
Okay. Awesome. So today's webinar is about the 20 real estate wealth plans. How do you make money in real estate, right? And before we get started, I do see some new people on today. So go ahead and put in the chat. Where are you guys listening in from? I'm always kind of curious to see where you guys are listening in from. And so who am I? So I am the founder of BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investors Association. I am also president of National RIA. And what that means for you guys is I represent over 40,000 real estate investors around the country. There's over 120 chapters and affiliates around the country. that are approved with National RIA. And what that means for you is they do background checks on us. We have legislative updates that we have to do, community service, and every year they want to make sure we're doing the right thing. And what's been really cool is I became president in January. Is the reason that they voted for me was we're doing some cool stuff down here in South Florida that the other RIAs are not, including our coaching program and just doing a lot of events and really being part of the community. I have over 25 years of real estate experience. I'm still a licensed agent since 2004, so I can't believe it's been almost 20 years. I'm a licensed mortgage guy. I've done well over $250 million in real estate transactions. My story is a little bit different. I grew up in Jersey, and my dad's a financial analyst, mom's an accountant, and I thought I was gonna, be a banker, right? I became a banker for a while, and I said, "This is for me. This bankers make money." And then I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Put in the chat. And then I realized reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, holy crap, my dad's poor dad, and I'm on the path for a poor dad. So, one of the things out there, I was like, shoot. And I said, I got to change everything. So I left the banking world, got my mortgage license. And when I got my mortgage license, I said, okay, well, I need to start buying real estate. So I started buying real estate. I was using a lot of leverage, which means a lot of bank loans. And back in, if you guys have been around, or you might have heard the stories back then, it was easy to get 100% loans, even on investment properties. So one of the things was for me, was I kept buying more stuff. I owned property in South Beach, Brickell, North Miami, Tampa, all the above. I was up to 28 properties, and I thought I was killing it. And I don't know how many guys believe in a higher power out there, and I do, right? Whether it's God or whatever higher power. And I said, please God, let me be done. And when I say done, I meant done working. And guess what happened in 2008? I literally went from millions to losing everything. And I filed bankruptcy February 10th, 2010. And, one of the challenges was I did not want to go back to corporate America. So as I was starting to lose things, the question was, what am I going to do? And back then, it was, I don't even know where I saw a flyer, and it was a free course. And I went to the course, and I was actually just a rehabber and a buy and hold guy. And as a buy and hold guy, one of the things was that I thought, real estate never went down. And then the market crashed. So I literally had negative cash flow, and it was a domino effect. And as that domino effect was happening, I went to that course, and they talked about wholesaling. Never heard of it. And again, I had a little bit of money. When I say little, I used my last $50,000 to do their program back in 2008, which is about $75,000 in inflation money. And I said, holy crap, like good information. They said, go to your local RIA because I never heard of a RIA. And the challenge was my mentor was in Utah. So they didn't know the local market. What I got for the $75,000 in today's money, I was allowed only 2 emails a week and one phone call. What I could tell you, it's not enough coaching was number one, and they didn't know the local market. So what did I do? My parents said, "Hey, you tried it your way." And I said, "Yeah, go back to corporate America." And as a good Indian son, I didn't listen to them. I actually slept on my cousin's couch, and I did Bria's old program. I was one of the top students, and I bought the RIAs for my mentors, and that's where we are today. So that's the long, short end of the story. So for the people that have been out there and lost money, I feel you. The people that are afraid, I feel you, right? And so that's one of the things that really got me excited about having a coaching program and transforming lives. And so also on our team, as I mentioned, Alexa's our COO. She is still on her maternity leave. And some of the mentors, we have Harry and Victoria Diamond, Michael and Maddie, and Denise and Lucian. And I have Harry Diamond actually here. So if you want to go ahead and give your background before we get started.
Well, while I'm talking, if everyone would put in who is new to real estate, that I'd like to see. But because I started out knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't even know how to spell real estate when I was 50 years old. But I knew that this was an additional stream of income. So after running two companies in the past and semi-retired, I knew I needed to do something, and I liked the idea, but I didn't know anything about real estate. I did fall for one of the national programs, spent over $50,000 on a program where I learned a lot of information, but never enough to pull the trigger and do a deal. So that was kind of scary and wondering how I'm going to recoup my money. But they told us to go to your local real estate investment associations. We went to all of the real estate clubs and associations that were in the area. And we stumbled across a RIA called BRIA, Broward Real Estate Investment Association. About 6 months before Nish came back, he was a previous student of theirs. Um, and we felt comfortable there. When I say we, Victoria and myself, we felt comfortable there. We started learning a lot more about real estate, how to put two and two together to make a deal happen. Anish came back at that time and was in the process of purchasing the company. He says short sales are the way to go. And within, oh my goodness, 90 days, we put 12 deals on the boards. Quickly shot up to be the number one students for a number of consecutive years back in the day. So much so, grateful that we were to be taken under the wing of Anish and the organization and all the members that are part of it who shared information openly and freely and without ever having for us with not worrying about someone stealing a property from us. We decided that we wanted to pay it back to you folks and give back to you as well and help you along this journey. It is exciting. So, being part of a team is not only critical for new people, but it's just as critical for people who have experience because the industry is always changing, always modifying. And you need somebody there who's got their finger on the pulse of the industry. And because there are so many members doing so many deals, we see these changes taking place very, very rapidly. So you're in the right place. Welcome and hang on to your hats. Plug into these Saturday programs. The one with Carl, that's super exciting. I cannot tell you how much I learned about how to do the numbers quickly on rehab. So when I'm at a house, I can see exactly what needs to be done. And that boot camp, so many people have started, used to be called boot camp, quick start.
Yep.
So many people have started from there, hit the ground running like that little proverbial cartoon where you get picked up by the scruff of your neck and your feet move 100 miles an hour before you get put back down. So obviously you're kicking up a lot of dust and dirt trail as you're already way ahead of the crowd. So welcome to the call and back to you, Anish.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, the reason that I refuse to stay broke is my family, right? My wife and I love traveling all around the world. I actually, as I mentioned, I actually went bankrupt February 10th, 2010. One of the cool things is I get to spend way more time for my dad. What I didn't tell you also is that when I lost everything, my parents invested with me and they lost their house also. It was this business, rehabbing, wholesaling, that got me back. And I actually bought my parents a house, luckily before my mom passed away. And that was one of the best gifts that I could ever give my family. One of the things is, as the mentors, not only, Harry and Victoria are mentors and as well as the other mentors, we've all become friends and family. We get to travel around the world. We've been friends, gosh, it's so crazy, Harry. I've known you guys for over 14 years. I am also the expert on wholesaling, rehabbing with the Miami Dolphins Business Combine. Stephen Ross, if you guys know Stephen Ross, he is an NFL owner of the Miami Dolphins, and he made all his money through real estate. So I love that he's teaching these young men to do something with their money that they're making to put it into real estate. I am also the expert for PAC, which is now in over six major sports, over 2,500 athletes, NFL, NBA, Premier League, women's soccer, baseball. all the above. And again, they're in the same boat where they're scared to make an offer on real estate. We are proud of our BPM student community. One of the things that we also have for our members, which is pretty exciting, and our students, we not only do different events, we have a happy hour coming up. You must be a member or a student. We're almost full on that event that's coming up June 18th. So that's pretty cool. I also was very fortunate to meet Grant Cardone. I wasn't a big Grant Cardone guy until I found out that he's got a lot of non-for-profits or nonprofits, I should say, where he's teaching kids about real estate education. So I went from not big fan of Grant Cardone to now I really like him because he does a lot more than most people see out front. Also, I was a guest on Money Chat as their real estate expert. Money Chat is a national TV show where I was the first guest on housing. So that was pretty cool too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a quick video of what we've been up to, and then we'll get started.
This is one of the best programs I've been a part of. The support is outstanding.
I encourage you to join this association. Your life will be changed.
Anish and everybody that was part of the
Thank
DPM
you.
RIA they were just wonderful. They got very knowledgeable. They were helpful. They were patient, kind, very good teachers, very organized. Everything was just it was a great uh, quick start seminar.
DP Ria, Anish, and the team, they are amazing. I have been a corporate member of the BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, for probably almost 15 years. And being part of an organization like that is just amazing when you get to see the people's lives that they're changing.
Hey, what's up? This is Avery Moss, former New York Giant, former Miami Dolphin. Recently, I got to finish up this hack event where it was a group of professional retired athletes that got together and we're trying to figure out the next chapter of our life. Just hearing them talk, going through everything, like instantly, I was inspired by the guy. It was like a light bulb flicked above my head like a cartoon. And thanks to this day, I can say furthermore, I'm going to go through this process and get into real estate, stop messing around and actually do it because I feel confident now of knowing what I want to do after meeting him, getting a base knowledge and seeing how things are.
Position. Grab the seat of the chair. The seat.
There you go.
Which should be on corners if you want to. All right, you go straight to the floor, not at an angle, straight up and down. The seat and straight to the floor. Touch it once.
You're gonna
Touch it twice.
destroy that shit, dude.
Touch it a third time. Explode!
And I have to say, they're an exceptional bunch of people to work with. How to use a technique, creative financing, how to get rid of liens. Don't hesitate to join, work with them. They will definitely help you get through the roughest times.
They put up all the money for the deals. They're there with you, make sure all the paperwork is right.
They don't, they're not going to leave you alone on this. And yeah, I recommend this.
BPM Rio program. It's definitely changed our lives. They funded our deals.
Hey, can't go wrong with other people's money.
Exactly. They funded our deals. They got us into real estate. They held our hand the whole way through, and just really, um, the most amazing thing is we literally have these guys to. It's nothing for us to pick up the phone and call a niche and be like, hey, look, we got this deal. What do we do?
They're not gonna let your deal fall through.
Yeah, so that was just some of the things that we've done in the past couple of years. And so I just want to see, Harry, like I always ask him, who here needs to make more money? Give me a yeah, buddy in the chat. Who needs to make more money in 2026? I want to make sure they're alive.
I do.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see. David, I agree. Yep. It's funny, only a couple people have even said that. I'll wait. Right? So if you don't believe you need to make more money, the other question is, if you don't need to make more money, I'm curious what you guys are doing, right? How many guys realize that if you don't sharpen your skills, it's going to cost you money? Give me a yeah, buddy. Okay. Some of you guys got it. All right. And how many guys realize ultimately, if you don't invest in yourself, that you're going to be way behind, right? Give me a yeah, buddy. Okay. Yep. Some of you guys. Okay. Now that I know that they're alive. So, what we're going to talk about is the 20 ways to invest in real estate. And also, I'm going to talk about our 2-day quick start. I'm also going to talk to you about our one-on-one coaching and why you're going to want to invest in it. And we're going to go with like the pros and cons of the different ways to invest in real estate. I only picked 20. Honestly, there's more than that. So I picked the most 20 easiest ones that I know. Wholesaling is one, right? And so, Harry, wholesaling, what's your quick definition of wholesaling? What's the pros and
Well,
cons?
very, very simply is buying a property at a low price and selling it at a low price and making that spread.
Right? Yep. So you buy low and you sell low. I know there's different ways. You might have heard like assigning the contract. That's just the method, guys, right? So yeah, the good is not only what are some of the other benefits that you like, Harry, besides
Of
you could
wholesaling, oh, I
yeah,
love minimal risk, minimal exposure. I'm in and out
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. So the question is, how many guys like minimal exposure? And if you do it correctly, there's no chance of losing money. How many guys like that? Give me a yeah, buddy. Right? The cons, right, of wholesaling property, generally speaking, and I don't think it's a con, is you don't make as much money. And we'll show you some deals where we're making way more money than the rehabber too. Second way, right, is flipping properties. And so flipping properties is what we talk about rehabbing. How many guys want to be in real estate because of the TV shows? Be honest, right? You watch Flip or Flop, you watch the brothers, the Property Brothers, all the above, right? Hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a place. I'm gonna fix it up and make a bunch of money. How many guys realize that in 30 minutes or even an hour, I don't know, sometimes they're 30-minute shows or an hour, there's no way that you're finding a house, you're rehabbing it with no problems. You do one open house and it sells more than list price, right? So they don't talk about all the negatives that go on there. And we'll dive deeper into these each one of these things too, right? Some of you guys, how many guys are landlords? Right? You want to build a portfolio. So what are some of the pros? Put in the chat, if you're a landlord, what's the benefit of owning property? Right? Some of you guys are gonna say passive income. So and I'm gonna give a yes and no on that because I had properties too. And the challenge was when I managed it myself, it wasn't passive. Right? So Yep, Carl, exactly, right? Equity, leverage, all the above, right? These things make a big difference. So again, you could build generational wealth through rental properties. What are some of the cons? What are some of the negatives that could happen or may happen if you're a landlord?
Destroy the property.
They could destroy the property.
Could have no
You,
renters.
you have no renters, right? You might have to evict them. Yep, bad tenants. Tenants stop paying. Michelle, yep. Yep, Sonia, yep, exactly. Changing toilets, right? I remember I had, it's funny now that I think about it. So I had a couple townhouses in Miramar. I had to change the window because you know why? This was a first for me too, was there was a bullet hole that went through the window. So luckily no one got hurt in my property. It was some just random people shooting, which was never great, right? So that was something different. Uh,
You never knew that was just a sticker I put on that window?
Yeah, right.
Well, guess
Yeah,
what?
the like with Carl, especially here in South Florida, AC, right? So again, there are some negatives in there. The other thing is like we're not even talking about CapEx expenses. And so even when you do our 2 day quick start, and some of you guys, I see some of the names you guys have been in on our quick start, Carl, it goes the lifespan of a roof, depending on the roof, the AC, the electric, right? So again, a lot of times I've seen this where homeowners, you bought a property 10 years ago. You bought it for 150. And you're like, wow, now it's worth 250. I'm up $100,000 in equity. You're really not, right? Like, did you add in, you redid the kitchen, you redid the roof. So one of the things that you have to add those expenses in, are you adding insurance, right? Are you adding taxes? Yeah, Sonia, exactly what, Carl Sheely. Actually, I think Carl, you should probably trademark that. Oops, money. Carl Sheely always talks about you got to make sure when you're rehabbing or, there's always something that can go wrong, right? So again, I like, owning properties too. So again, we're always talking about different ways to buy or sell, right? Some people love vacation or short-term rentals. So man, it's so crazy when we talk about the short-term rental business, right? Like, yes, you can make more money. The difference is you think it's bad just owning traditional properties. Try to manage a short-term rental by yourself without systems, right? The check-in's not going right. I remember actually in Antonio when he first started, I think we were on the cruise. We're in the jacuzzi or in the pool, and he's like trying to answer a call, getting someone, he's getting a call from people coming in and they can't get into the house. Or again, this wasn't working. Or there was a plumbing issue, right? Again, so the good end of it, let's talk about the pros, is that you should make on average in Florida 2.5 times what you would make on a normal rental with a short-term rental if it's run well. So what does that mean? If the rental is 2,000 a month, long term, and you're doing a short-term rental, you should make about 5,000 a month in revenue. Again, Airbnb, the other platforms, the cons, right? You're gonna have to pay Airbnb their fee or VRBO, right? It can be management intensive. And what I mean by that is on the traditional rental properties, if you have a management company, it's usually anywhere from 8 to 10%. It's usually 10%, unless you have a few properties, maybe you'll get it down to 8%. Short-term rentals, it's 25 to 30%. And what we've seen the negative is that maybe you were one of the first short-term rentals in the area. Now there might be 10 or 15. The other thing is you got to make sure with the cities, right? Code enforcement. Miami Beach, condos, all the above. They won't allow some, depending on the area, allow short-term rentals. So you're always still stuck. What happens if the city says, "Hey, we no longer do this"? Also, right, some of the cities in the city of Fort Lauderdale, you do need permits for short-term rentals. So again, the pros are when you really do it right, you should be making way more money. The cons are is it's definitely management intensified, right? Is number one. If you have a management company, it's going to cost more money versus the traditional. The other thing that I also noticed too is the wear and tear on your house is definitely different. Could be code problems, right? You don't tell your neighbors, code enforcement. So that could be some of the challenges. Again, for every way to invest in real estate, there's always the really good, and then there's always the challenge too, right? So again, vacation or short-term rentals. Crowdfunding. Who knows what crowdfunding means? Put in the chat. What does crowdfunding mean? So the pros of crowdfunding is that I believe Jeff Bezos has one. There's a few of the big ones out there. Blackstone has one where you could literally, as little as $100, buy a share, or yeah, I'll call it a share, into a real estate transaction. So the pros is you could still be in real estate and you're counting on experts. Hopefully they're experts in their field, and you're investing in real estate saying that, this company knows what they're doing. Right? So that's the idea of it. So you could get in with very little money. What's the negatives? Right? Is the negative could be you're trusting somebody, right? And they don't know what they're doing. You literally have no decision-making opportunities. What do I mean by that? Hey, we need to sell the property. I want to paint this. You can't do any of that, right? So you're a limited partner, if anything. So you literally just own shares and you're just hoping it goes up. They pool everyone's money together and they're buying real estate, whether they're flipping, buying high-end assets, and they're literally using your money and everyone's money that they raise to buy properties, and you get a return on it. Right? So that's some of the crowdfunding. So it's an easy way to get in real estate, and at the same time, it's 100% passive. You are a limited, I don't even want to call it a partnership. You have no say on what the property can and cannot do. And if you don't like it, you could just sell your share. So the speed of in and out is kind of like, I almost want to say it's like a stock to an extent, where you could get in and out and liquidate very quick. So commercial real estate, right? So what do we mean by commercial real estate? So what's, commercial real estate, and now the pros and cons are a little bit different, right? Since the pandemic. A lot of people, I want to own strip malls. Well, what have we seen with strip malls, right? COVID really changed the landscape. What I mean by that is a lot of the retailers, even the big malls, are going under or having challenges, right? The big box stores where they went from, 80% was people walking in buying stuff. Now, it's Amazon or just buying stuff online. So that's some of the cons, is that some of the big box people are moving out. Movie theaters, same thing, right? They're just saying movie theaters aren't making much money. The other challenge with commercial real estate, you need a lot of money. What do I mean by that, right? Even if you find a strip mall for $1 million or $2 million, generally speaking, you need to have 25% as a down payment. So those are large down payments. So $1 million, you need a minimum 250 plus expenses. Plus it's got a cash flow. So the con is that if you don't have big money or access to money, you're never going to be able to do these deals. The other challenge is, yes, I've done creative financing all the way through, and we have workshops on that. And yes, can you do creative financing, seller financing, lease options, all the above? The challenge is on the other side, when they're the owners, they could tell within 30 seconds if you're a newbie. So I get calls all the time. I could tell you right away that, that they're brand new. And the biggest telltale sign, right? Harry, I think you might have done this. I probably did this too. So I'm not only going to pick on Harry. I think I've done this too. Was when I first started and I was looking for buyers. Oh, you're a cash investor. You're a real estate investor. What's your buy box? Did you ever use that, Harry? Did you actually call people?
No, but
And okay,
what are you looking for, right? Yeah, no,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest telltale that you're brand new to real estate, right? And usually what will happen is if they're really good at what they do, they're going to say, well, what do you have? Like, I don't, I probably get, I don't know, I'd say like 5 calls a month. Oh, I know you buy stuff. Like, what's your buy box? Like, I'm not going to go through all this. The deal has to make sense. So again, it's a different market of people, and they'll know, again, experienced people will know right away. The other thing is you're going to need proof of funds, right? So that's always important too. Like, do you really have the 25% down? Do you really have the million or $2 million out there? How many of you guys wanted to get into commercial real estate and you have the funds? Put in the chat. And if you don't, just put not me or not now. That's fine. I'm just kind of curious, right? Like, because it's always interesting. We always have a different kind of audience. My next one is tax liens. So actually, it's funny that Carl Schuler, our contractor, is on here, and you've probably seen him at our events. And again, he's our longest standing member, not our oldest member. He's our longest standing member, and he buys tax liens. So what are the pros of tax liens? Harry, you want to touch on any of this? What do you think one of the benefits are? I know you don't do tax liens, but
Well, one of the benefits would be that you would have a high interest rate, or you hope to get a high interest rate on the money you invest.
correct, right? So a lot of times, right, in Florida, like you could get almost up to 18% by buying a tax lien. The goal, right, in Florida, and I'm just going to pick Florida in general, each state's a little bit different. It takes 3 years of someone not paying their taxes to go to a tax deed sale, right? So some of the benefits maybe on the tax liens in general is that maybe you're buying someone else's taxes or paying them, for 1 or 2 years. It might be only 7 or 10 thousand bucks. Let's say it's 5,000, right? So you might be able to buy 2 years worth for 10 grand, right? And Carl's exactly right. You get 18% and you could acquire the property, assuming they don't pay. The great thing about tax liens is that even if there's a mortgage on the property, right? Harry's got a house. I buy the tax liens on it. He's got a mortgage of $500,000. The mortgage gets wiped out. So imagine I acquire the property. I am no longer required to pay that mortgage. The lien drops, right? So let's talk about the negatives, right? So a couple things is that generally speaking, if you're the mortgage company, a lot of times, even though you're not making those payments, they might escrow the taxes and insurance. Generally speaking, the lender's going to pay off those taxes more often than not, right? Maybe if it's a private lender, they don't, which would be kind of crazy. They have a ton of stuff out there, right? In Florida, yep, Carl is one of our experts. What I could tell you, and Carl will tell you also, is he's not buying, tax liens down here in South Florida. It's too competitive. Some of the cities, Carl, if you want to throw in some of the places that you bought, some of these little hokey pokey towns where he could still go to the courthouse. And he's gotten some great deals, whether it's land, I think he got a house, some awesome stuff. Generally speaking, down here in South Florida, there's 6 major companies. They buy everything. So the competition's a little stiff. The other pros, if you're in different states, just make sure you know the state law. Where I know other people that are buying tax liens in different states. The cons, let's also talk about that, right? Is maybe you buy a tax lien and the house is destroyed or there's no longer a house, right? That could happen. And what happens if the land's not worth it? Generally speaking, in Florida, the land will probably be worth more than the tax lien, and you just want to make sure. So again, you do need to know how the state works. Each state works on tax liens, and then how does it, what happens eventually to a tax deed sale. Again, you have to be an expert when it comes to it. And actually, our national speaker webinar in June is someone that actually Jason, oh, I forgot off the top of my head his last name. He's a national speaker on tax deeds and tax liens. So he is actually going to be doing a webinar for our monthly meeting for June, which is next Wednesday, which you're going to love. The reason I have him coming is that some of the other RIAs love what he teaches. Again, he's not buying these tax liens in Florida. These are in different states, and he's got a great system on it. Again, it's another skill set you got to learn, right? So for me, I know again, Carl does really well at it. I just wasn't a big tax lien guy because it was just too much information I felt like it was another job versus our wholesale rehab numbers. And thank you, Vina. It's actually our national speaker is Jason Porter. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. Let's talk about auctions. So what are some of the pros of auctions? What do you guys think? Why do you think the auctions may be a good spot? So in the past, right? First of all, the auctions, you got to pay cash, right? So you got to put a deposit down, $5,000 or $10,000 down, depending on the auction. Usually it's five, and then within 24 hours, you have to put in the rest of the money. So back in the old days, right? It goes into foreclosure. When I say the old days, before all the online and all the competition out there, right? Was, if it was a foreclosure, it was a good deal. How many guys realize just because it's a foreclosure, it's not a good deal? It's not always a good deal. So when I started in real estate, gosh, 20 something years ago, if it was in foreclosure and it goes to auction, that's gonna be an amazing deal. And right now, they're not. So what are some of the cons? Harry, what are some of the negatives of the auction, trying to buy properties on auction?
Well, everyone in the world can see them.
Yeah, the
Live
competition,
auctions.
right? Number one is the competition is way over the top. What other stuff do you see?
Well,
Yep.
they'll overpay,
Yep.
most of them.
Yep.
We've seen companies buy hundreds, and 30 to 50% of them are losers, and they just write it off
Yep.
against their winners.
Yep. So again, like Sonia, you're exactly right. The property is as is. So it might look great on the outside and it's black mold inside. It might have people still in there, right? There could be violations on the house. If you really didn't do the title search, there could be other things against the property, right? So generally speaking, most of the liens get wiped out and not all of them. All right, so those are some of the challenges out there. Exactly what Harry said. There's a lot of people that get caught up on the bids and they think it's a great foreclosure deal, and it's not, right, at the auction. We've seen deals where people thought they were buying the house, and what did they buy? They actually bought the HOA lien. Like we had a member years ago. The condo was worth over $300,000. He's like initially he was so excited. He's like, I bought this condo for $45,000 at the auction. Guess what he bought? He bought the HOA lien. Yeah, Carl's exactly right. There's no inspection period. So again, it's a whole different world out there. Have we bought stuff in auction? We have, not much. It's way too competitive. I would never pay for those numbers. And exactly what Harry's talking about, some of the big guys, they build that in their cost. And what I mean by that is they'll say, okay, we're buying 10 properties. We're going to lose money on 3 of them. That's okay. We're making money on 7 of them. Just doesn't work that way for me, right? So if you're a small investor, you could easily be wiped out quickly. Lease options. What's a lease option? And Gwen's asking, why would someone buy an HOA lien? They didn't know they were buying an HOA lien. They just saw the auction. They didn't do their due diligence.
And to finish up the rest of your story, even though he bought the $45,000 HOA lien, what happens next? The mortgage company is going to foreclose because they want their money.
Yep.
And
It was 100% upside down. So they lost the $45,000 altogether. And then the bank actually foreclosed on it. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I didn't finish that part of the story. Yeah, so it's super important on that, right? So what people don't realize is for like all the great deals that we've done and all the above, we get calls, 3 to 5 calls a month of people losing money on deals, right? Meaning if this was so easy, everybody would be doing this, right? So
Helps
lease
to have,
options.
that's why it helps to have a mentor, and we're
Yeah.
very thankful that we had one. Still
Yeah,
do.
and you know what's funny, even to touch on that, I still have mentors. Again, like I've probably spent well over, I'm thinking last 3 or 4 years, at least $250,000 on mentors and masterminds, just so I could learn from other people what not to do. For me, the most important thing is time. As you get older, I know we might have some young people on this, and we have some people that might be older. The one thing that we all have in common is we all get the same amount of time, right? So, and especially when you get a little bit older, you're just like, shoot, it's going too fast. And so let's talk about lease options. So what does that mean, right? The pros are you control a property and you basically are locking down a price. Harry owns a property and he wants to sell it, and I lock it down for $200,000. I tell him that I'm gonna pay him 2,000 a month, and then I have an option to buy it in 2 years, right? So the pros is I locked down a property and price. The idea is I'm gonna rent it out to someone else for 2,500. I'm gonna make the difference on the money, and I'm locking the price for 2 years. So prices go up. I'm going to close on it and make a bunch of money. The negative, you're going to pay an option fee. It is not a deposit. So whatever we negotiate, Harry says you got to put $20,000 option fee. It's non-refundable. Right? So prices go down, I'm going to lose my 20 grand. Right? So again, it's a great strategy. Again, it just gets a little more complicated. So as an expert, again, it just depends on where you're learning this, the property, you got to find the right tenant, all the above. You need the right paperwork also. The cons is like, well, what happens? Again, you as an investor, you might lose the money if prices go down, if you can't renegotiate. The con can be if you actually do a lease option, prices go up. I have a friend of mine and Ryan Garrison in my mastermind. During COVID, he did 3 lease options, $300,000. He's like, at least I got some option fees. It's rented, they're paying me monthly. And then the houses went from 300,000 to 450. And 2 of the people took the options. So he lost out on all that equity. Right. And then the con can be also is to try to explain this to someone that's non-real estate. So if they're new to real estate, are you buying a house or you're not buying a house? Right. The next one is private lending, right? So I do a lot of private lending also. Obviously, I put up 100% of the money for our students. So the pros are you should have an asset, right? You're going to put a mortgage note on the property and you should be protected. Hopefully, you did the right loan to value. It truly should be passive, meaning, if you have the right bar, you should just be receiving payments. If you're using your Roth, you can do it tax-free also and building your retirement account. The cons, right? What could be some of the negatives as an investor? I mean, there's some pretty obvious ones, but Harry, what would you say?
Oh, well, you don't have them pay you, you have to foreclose.
Yeah, you have to foreclose, right? Depending on the state. If you're in New Jersey or New York, it might take a year to foreclose, right? You didn't really evaluate the property well, meaning you trusted the investor. The market takes a dump, taxes go up, insurance goes up, right? They can't make your payments. So again, that's another skill set. Even if you want to get in the lending world, you got to understand cash flow and how to evaluate properties, right? Self-storage. Let's talk about self-storage. So the pros is that I'm not using the big public storage, right? So I have a friend that does that. They build them It usually takes 2 to 3 years to build them. It costs anywhere around, he says about $5 to $6 million to actually to make one, and it takes well over 5 years to get your money back. After that, it's a cash cow, right? So the challenge can be is you need some big money, right? So you need to have money to be able to do that, and that's a big move. Again, the small ones, I do like those. Again, generally speaking, you need 20 to 25% down. It could be limited employees. I have a friend that owns a couple self-storages. It's all automated with a gate code. They took care of everything, and it took a long time to get there. All right. So again, self-storage is a good business, and you need some funds to actually buy it and even to get a loan on it. What I've seen on self-storage, you usually need at least 30% down, right? So REITs, right? Real estate investment trusts, right? Blackstone, some of these other companies out there, usually they have a minimum of what you put into a REIT. It's usually depends on the REIT, but I've seen generally 25,000 is what you need in there, and you're trusting like a Blackstone. You're trusting their expertise on it, right? So it's a good place of money. I thought it was really interesting. I have a friend that's a private banker out in Switzerland, and they put over $10 million in a REIT, one of Blackstone's REIT, right? Everyone's like Blackstone, Blackstone, and they have several of them. And he said, "Get this, Harry, I didn't tell you the story. 10 years later, it's worth 10 million. It actually made no money." Right? So again, the pros are you're trusting experts, so hopefully you are making money. The cons, so I'll tell you what happened also with Blackstone and some of these other ones, is when the office buildings, right after COVID, office space was down, people started panicking. They wanted their money. And what they did was, if you read the fine print, was they could easily say, "Hey, we could hold your money," is the fine print on there, right? Until we say so. So they only let 10% of the people get their money back, the first 10%. So that can be a challenge where you're stuck. And again, you usually need some big money on it. Land development to build. I always say, "Oh, I want to build." Well, what I could tell you, 95% of the time, you got to own the land. It's number one. Construction loans. Depends if you have experience or not. You could probably get away with 15% down, right? And you're generally speaking, if you're just in one house at a time, you're looking at anywhere from 18 months to 2 years, depending on permits. So you're guesstimating what's going to happen in 2 years, right? So interest rates could go higher or lower, right? You don't know, right? Materials, you might have done all your numbers saying, per square foot, it's $140 a square foot. Now, because of materials, we're in a war, any of these things, right? It went from 140 to 170, 180. So I know a lot of people that have built and they've gone broke. So it's unbelievably competitive. You need big money on it, and there's a lot of forecasting, right? Real estate syndication, right? So usually this is in the multifamily space. When we say real estate syndication, Harry puts in 50,000. Usually I've seen minimum 25. Generally it's $50,000. Harry puts 50, I put 50, Carl puts 50, Alexa puts 50. They take all our money. We're limited partners. They buy a multifamily. It's probably not performing. We're going to rehab it. The idea is we'll fix it. We'll get the rents up, and then we'll refinance and pay everyone back. So great concept, except what's happened was people were doing syndications and they were basing it on 3.5% rate. And now they're at 6.5%, 7%. It's not cash flowing. They can't even do the refinance. It's number one. The challenge when you can't do the refinance, or they have to come in with money. So I've seen a bunch of syndications go belly up. I've seen there's two big ones in Texas where the guy actually stole the money, 32 million bucks out of the country. They're going out for them. So again, you're a limited partner. So again, I'm not against any of these things. It's the pros and cons. If it's well run, it's a great way to make some passive money. The challenge is you're a limited partner, so you have no say and your money's locked up. So I always tell people generally syndications, think of your money locked up for 5 years. Seller financing, right? It's an easy way to buy real estate, right? They don't check your credit. All the terms are negotiable. So you can own real estate with little money down. You could create your own interest rate in your own terms. So one of the things I love about Eddie Speed Note School, they bought $33 million in notes. What I found really interesting was 1/3 of those notes, about $11 million, 0% down, 0% interest rate. So you could actually buy properties, and I've seen it. So it's definitely the pros are it's not on your credit, right? You can own real estate on it. The cons could be you can't make payments, right? You're responsible on the property. And what I mean by that, the roof, you could have big CapEx expenses, and if you didn't budget for it, you could easily lose money. You didn't budget for taxes and insurance correctly, easily lose money, right? So that's some of the challenges out there. Real estate partnerships, and I see this happen all the time. I've been in real estate partnerships. It always starts out pretty good until there's a problem. Like, Harry, you should do this, and you put up the money, I'll take care of this, and not having a solid operating agreement is the death of you. And what I mean by that is every partnership, whether it's buying real estate, any business, you should have an operating agreement, right? So what happens, a cross-sell agreement, what do I mean by that? Harry and I are partners. I passed away. He doesn't want to be partners with Eliana, right? You got to make sure you have things in your partnerships when things go bad. What happens if, I have a big problem, a money problem, and Harry and I want to sell? And Harry's like, no, we can't sell. The market's down. Now what? Right? So again, the more partners, and if it's not defined, can be some challenges. So again, the pros are you could pool stuff together and or expertise. I've done partnerships with Carl where I put up all the money and he did all the work. It's very defined, right? And it's defined on what our splits will be. Right? Sub 2. So that means subject to, right? Where you're taking over the mortgage, right? You're not, a lot of people use the word assume, right? The answer is not assume, right? Because if you assume, you have to qualify. The benefits are you get to take advantage of low interest rates. It can be limited cash out of your property. It's not on your credit. The negatives, right, is if the loan gets called, you do something wrong, and the bank finds out that it changed title, can be massive, right? That's a big problem. Some of the other negatives could be on the sub 2 is the original note holder, right? The original buyer or seller, I should say, they buy other property and they tell their mortgage guy, and before you know it, hey, and I sold it to Anish, and they notify the bank, right? So there can be some challenges on there, right? There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. We talk about that during our 2-day quick start. Notes, there's performing and non-performing, right? Usually you get discounted pricing, the pros, right? You don't actually own the property, you're the lender, or not the lender, you're the bank where you're receiving payments. So there's performing and non-performing, right? The negatives, if it's non-performing and you have to foreclose or reevaluate with the homeowner and you don't know the state law, what the foreclosure process is, you never went out to the property, you're thinking it's worth this, you just did, I don't want to say Zillow, but you're using one of these online things and you realize the house is a mess, right? So again, it can be great. The other pros, you can buy notes as cheap as 20 grand, 15 grand. So you could still get into the business. You can buy it through your self-directed, which I love also. You can buy in your Roth, right? Mobile parks, right? So the pros are if you actually own the park, I'm not talking one mobile home, right? Is where you're actually getting the payments. They pay you $600 a month. You actually own the land. So it's a great business. The challenge is there aren't too many. And the numbers to even get in that space are massive. Like you need to have some massive capital to get in there, right? And that, I mean, that's the pro is if you have the money, it's great. The con is if you don't have the money. And again, it's a whole different other business. I know people that own mobile parks. It is a cash cow. It's just really hard to find mobile parks that make sense. And then real estate coaching, right? There's ways you could actually make money when you actually have a mentor and a coach. So put in the chat, I'm just curious, which one is your favorite way so far to invest in out of the 20? Put in the chat. I'm just kind of curious. Which one do you see yourself doing? And so what are my favorite ones? Wholesaling. Why do I like it? Is if you do it correctly, you can never lose money on deals. How many guys like the idea that there's always an upside only, right? So that's one of my favorites. Limited risk, you could do it virtually, all the above. Flipping properties, short-term rentals, right? And my favorite also, get a real estate coach or mentor. So between wholesaling and flipping, generally speaking, on the wholesaling side, it should be faster, number one, right? Versus flipping is when we say flipping, we're actually talking about actually fixing the house, right? So the benefits of wholesaling, it's minimal cash, right? You just need a deposit. For all the YouTubers out there that say it's $100 down, what I'm going to tell you in our market, you need to at least have $500 to put a deposit down to be serious. Ideally, at least 1,000. Again, as I mentioned, if you do it correctly, you can't lose money. Minimal staff, right? I literally was wholesaling. Even Harry, he's doing it from his house, right? So you don't need a massive team. And then my favorite is it can be done virtually. And what I mean by that is we have a ton of investors that don't live in South Florida and they invest here, or vice versa. I know a lot of people here that are wholesaling in other markets. Okay, so I'm starting to say wholesaling, flipping, okay. Tax deeds, rentals, okay. Right, and then on flipping real estate, right, we're talking about the rehab. You should have larger profits, ideally. We'll show you some deals where we actually made more money, right? The challenge is it can be riskier. So if your numbers are tight and you're thinking the after repair value will be 400,000, the market shift because it's 8 months later and it's only worth 350, you may lose money. It's okay when prices are going up. The challenge is what do you do when prices are going down, right? You need a power team to complete it, and you generally need more money. And what do I mean by that? If you have no experience, you generally need at least 20% down, maybe 25% down for the deposit, right? When you're buying something, and then you'll need money for the rehab. Obviously, the more experienced you are, some of our lender partners, you can get away with less. For me, because I have so much experience, they'll literally give me 100% of the money for the acquisition and for the rehab. And it's funny because I always tell them, like, I don't need the money. They're begging for me to take the money. I'm like, no, I don't need the money. I have my own money, right? So again, it generally takes, what people don't also understand on the rehab option is that when you rehab, it takes a lot of time and it may keep you from doing other deals, right? So while you're working on the rehab. So there's no right or wrong. So I do both of those, right? The short-term rental world, that's just not me. Again, we talked about it. You should be making 2.5x of normal rents. And it is actually a true business, right? So again, if you don't have systems, teams, and those algorithms are constantly changing on Airbnb, VRBO, you do run into some of the challenges of reviews, all the above. So the people I know that love short-term rentals really love short-term rentals, and they're good at it. The people that hate short-term rentals is they self-manage, right? They're trying to do it to make the extra money, and it's costing them so much more on time and aggravation, right? The other thing we always talk about, you need a power team. So who's on your power team, right? Contractors, insurance agents, realtors, title companies, money partners, mortgage brokers. And we have all that at the RIA. So when you join our BPM student program, I literally did all that hard work for you. The easiest way, you have a built-in power team when you work with us, right? And then my favorite, of course, is having a real estate coach. And what are some of those benefits? How many guys like that I put up 100% of the money for your deals? Give me a yeah, buddy. Number two is we analyze deals with you. So we get rid of that analysis paralysis. That was a big one for me. I joke about it. You guys have been watching webinars. I say it in person. When I first started, sometimes it'd take me a week to analyze a property. And by the time I finally went to the broker, right, the realtor, because I was only doing on-market properties, thank God it sold. I was like, oh God, all that stress, right? The other thing is we have a massive cash buyers list, 10,000 person cash buyers list. All that means that we could sell properties quick, right? And the other big thing is that we are local and active investors, right? So not only is Harry investor, the other mentors, myself, I literally live in downtown Los Olas. We could drive to the properties. When you're in our program, you have direct access to me, the mentors, and my money, right? So imagine doing deals with a mentor and I take on all the risk. The truth is, I know what I'm doing, so I'm not taking on all the risk on these deals, right? And then, so what we have coming up again is our BPM Bria Quick Start. And the Quick Start is 2 full days where I'm going to show you how to find off-market properties, creative financing, how we use AI, assignments of double closings. We have guest speakers like Carl Shealy. He's going to talk about the rehab, what to look for, best practices. Jose Ramirez, Advanced Tax Advisors, how to set up your company the right way and pay your fair share of taxes. Kevin Thatcher, assignment and double closings. We're going to talk about that. And then Francisco with ReFax and the software we use. And Vina put in there, we do have an early bird special. If you buy your quick start before then, it's $100 off. So instead of $695, it's $595. And so I'm going to show you some of the deals that we've done with our students. So Harry, we're just going to kind of run through these. Do you want to, we'll just quickly, just based on time, if you want to just talk about this deal.
Absolutely. This was a student deal, driving for dollars. He passed this on the way to work. Couldn't see the house from the road. It was so overgrown, but this is what it looked like up close. Clearly a hoarder situation. It was required 2 probates. The mother died on Christmas the year earlier. The sons died the next Christmas, and the other son was estranged. So our student with our help, found the brother, made him a deal. This had equity in it, surprisingly. And we just made him a straight up contract deal. I bought the house as is, and we wholesaled it same day. We closed it on the morning, sold it in the afternoon for $110,000 profit, of which our student got half, $55,000.
Yeah. So key points: driving for dollars. Our student works full time, driving for dollars. Found the homeowner. We did 2 probates, which we paid for, guys, up front. So I'm willing to do that on a case-by-case study. And then all we did was clean out the house and we put it on our buyers list and we netted $110,000. The deals I'm showing you guys, these are net profits. That's all we count. We never talk gross. We want to know what's in our pocket. And this is another one of Julio's deal, another hoarder house. He's been living in this for what, 5 years, you said, right? If I'm correct.
Oh, the owner's living there for decades.
Yeah.
But the house also severely distressed, 386,000 in liens. This was actually not probably, this is the worst hoarder house we and our clean out crew have ever seen. That front door picture there, that's actually 3 feet of stuff by the front door to climb up into the house. Couldn't get the next picture on the right is actually down the hallway to his bedrooms and bathroom. So there was no access to bedrooms, bathroom, or kitchen. And you couldn't see the house from this angle. It was so overgrown. We solved the problems for the city to the point where the code officer spoke to magistrate in front of us. And we got it down to $3, $386,000 in liens down to $3, $1 per case. There was a $1,600 hard cost fee, and we had our buyer pay for that. We cleaned it out to make at least a little more presentable. And we netted 138,000 on this deal, of which Julio got half, which was what, 69,000.
Yep, 69,000. So if you're keeping track, that's well over $100,000 on deals that were off market. One of the things is, since I'm putting up my own money for deals, I was willing to close with the violations. So if you're not using your own money, hard money's not going to give you that. They're not going to let you close. So again, I mean, literally this street, thousands of cars daily pass by it, and this wound up being a deal. How many guys, if you did one of these deals, this would change your year? Put in the chat, right? So this is one of Harry's deals. Also, this was a reverse mortgage short sale. The homeowner was actually going to walk away from the house, the heirs. And Harry and Victoria are experts on how to create equity. And so, again, did the reverse mortgage short sale. When you're in our program, we will teach you how to do this. We have a full team that does it. Bought the house for $171,000. And we netted at that time, that was the record of $179,000 wholesale deal. Guys, we've been averaging post-pandemic $40,000 per wholesale deal. So the average wholesale nationally is between $5,000 to $8,000, right? So that's a pretty solid deal of $179,000. And I'm going to play a quick video of what Nicole said after she did our 2-day quick start.
Hi, my name's Nicole Bergatti. I'm with Bergatti Properties, and I'm currently a full-time employee of CBRE. I'm events and meeting coordinator. And prior to starting the 2-day quick start course, I've always wanted to do real estate. I've always been interested in flipping homes and all that good stuff. And I knew Anish, and I knew that this is what he did. And he's so smart, and he knows real estate so well. And so I went ahead and just took the course, and I am so glad I did, because a couple months later, we ended up closing a deal that was worth $42,000. And that's great money. And now I have a few more deals in the pipeline, and I'm super excited about my investing future. And that wouldn't have been possible without Anish and his team. And I 100% recommend that you take this course, get started, and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that Nicole, again, has a full-time job, no real estate experience. And now she's starting to see opportunities. And that was from our 2-day quick start. This house was a short sale, and the bones were great. So this is Latanya, one of our elite students. And for our elite students, I'll actually put up money for the rehab. So this was a super easy rehab. We cleaned it up. Again, the roof was great. The windows were great. We did this rehab in 45 days, and it took 4 months from beginning to end until we got our check. The buyer was an FHA buyer, so we actually had to hold the property for 90 days, did the loan, and we netted $167,000. Latanya made over $80,000, and she learned how to rehab a house. So these are some pretty big numbers, and she worked with our team and Carl to actually do these deals, right? These are, I'm just going to run through these real quick too. This is another one of Harry's and Victoria's deals. Again, this one had equity, and Harry was going to put it in his LLC, and I said, wait, you're going to make too much money. Put it in your Roth IRA, right? So again, just cleaned it up. Harry and Victoria love wholesaling versus rehabbing. Denise and Mushin love rehabbing. I like creative financing, rehabbing, and wholesaling. Actually, I like money. Let me rephrase that. So on this deal, again, they put $1,000 in their self-directed IRA, their Roth IRA, and they netted $145,000 tax-free on $1,000. How many guys, if you made $145,000 tax-free, you'd say real estate's pretty fun? Give me a yeah, buddy. And then also I'm going to play a quick video of what one of our other students said after our program.
My name is Kevin Tyree. My company name is, I work with BPM Rear. Before joining BPM Rear, My previous career, I worked at the Port of Miami for 23 years, and I also was a buy and hold investor. After joining BPM REIA, I've learned how to wholesale, short sales, work with probate properties, and things of that nature. Join BPM. Thanks, Anish.
Yeah, so Kevin wanted to not only build his portfolio, like his first wholesale deal was almost $90,000. So again, I know the numbers are grand. I crack up because my first wholesale deal, I made $2,000, and I was excited because I only put $500 down. I 4x'd my money. I was like, wow, this thing really works. Here's another house here in South Miami. They thought it was going to be a tear down. We bought it for $150. We had it under contract. We did a Gaia construction report, and I got another $25,000 discount. We bought it for $125,000. We put it on our list, $235,000 net profit. Our partner made 50% of that, right? So imagine one deal over $100,000 net profit. Again, we're not buying $1 million houses, right? So then this deal, this is one of Harry and Victoria's deals. You want to talk about the 2 duplexes?
2 duplexes, same lot, same owner. I was going to pass on this. It looked too nice. One of them was in a pre-foreclosure situation. The other was free and clear. But something just told me to go talk to the owner who lived about 6 blocks away. Turns out the guy was in his 80s. He was tired landlord, doing this 60 plus years. And he was interested in helping. So getting our help. He ended up walking away with $125,000 in his pocket. I put this in my Roth because I said, hey, long-term residual income, right? Tenants and toilets kind of thing. But I said, great, I'll get an income from this. Put the same $1,000 down because the other one closed, same $1,000 down from my Roth and put it down on this contract. And then 13 days later, someone made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And you see the tax-free profit there. The way I looked at it is I'll be dead 30 years before I can make that kind of profit tax-free, being a landlord. So I took the money and ran. And that was over $400,000 in profits on those 2 deals, tax-free.
Yeah, I think what's really important is that it just depends what your strategy is. So again, I'm not against you guys buying and holding. I'm all for it. And you just got to figure out, what are you looking for? Cash flow? What are you really building? Right? Is it, do you have reserves? Are you taking all these other things into account? Because I know tons of people with massive portfolios and they love it too. So the answer is yes to both, right? Because a lot of people always say, all you guys do is wholesale, you this. And the answer is no, we do everything, guys. So that's a pretty good deal. This is one of Marcella's deals also. This was past probate, and why they sold to Marcella, which I really like, was she's not pushy. And when you tell people we could close fast because we can, because we have cash, sometimes closing fast is not the solution. So on this deal, we looked at rehabbing the house, and Marcella is one of our elite students. They had over, what was it, 16 dogs, 12 dogs?
Yeah.
16, I forgot on that. Actually, when we cleaned it up, it wasn't bad. Actually, it was like, for us, this was not bad. We looked at rehabbing the house, and lo and behold, we said, you know what? We're able to wholesale it and make $102,000 profit. We did the rehab estimate, and if everything would have worked out, maybe we would have made 120, and it would have took 5 or 6 months. So we don't know on that end of it. And so the answer is, when you join our program, we're true partners. And the idea is we want to make the same amount of money. I'm going to maximize. The mentors like Harry, he makes money out of my 50%. So he has a vested interest in you doing well also. Otherwise, he doesn't get paid, right? So that's something that's different. Again, that's a $51,000 profit. Her first deal paid for her education. And this is what one of our other former students, Antonio, that you've probably seen around, the founder of Latin REIA, this is what he had to say.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Lopez. My company name is Antlop Investment Properties, And before I met Anish Dave and joined the BPM RIA mentoring, I had just a basic idea of what I needed to do in real estate investing. After I joined, aside from learning pretty much everything that was required to learn about real estate investing and to become successful, one of the biggest benefits that I received was the amazing network of people that were part of the club. Everything that you can think of, everything that you need in order to be successful in real estate investing, you can find it here at the BPM RIA. So thank you so much, BPM and Anish, for everything. I really appreciate it. I owe you guys a ton. And for you guys watching this, I highly encourage you to check out BPM RIA. It's the first place you need to, where you want to start your real estate investing journey. So.
Yep. So again, Antonio is now a short-term rental expert. We do have two programs. So what I would tell you guys that we have our core program, which is 6 months. Our elite program is for 12 months. The elite program, I actually put up money for the rehabs. And also with the elite program, it's buy one, get one free. So I'm going to pay for software while you're in the program. You get a free ticket to the Quick Start. You're tied into a mentor. And so what's really important, guys, is I only take 6 students per month. And the reason is you have unlimited access to your mentors. Most companies out there, they're not one-on-one mentoring. It's group coaching. You're lucky to even get them on the phone. And what's really also important in our organization, everyone's performance-based. We make money when you make money on deals. How many of you guys are loving what today's webinar is about? Can you go ahead and put in the chat? I want to hear, yeah, buddy, you guys learned something today. The other thing that we do have right now is we have our 2-day quick start. It's August 1st and 2nd. And, right here is, for me, it's a difference between, who wants to do deals and someone who actually does. You got to take action now, right? You're actually seeing the skill sets that you need to become a real estate investor. What I tell people about is that you don't need any more information, guys. You need execution. That's the difference of someone that does well versus who doesn't. Again, you could actually, if you take out your QR code, you could book a discovery call, right? Ask me all the questions, interview me. I'm also interviewing you to make sure you're a good fit for us also. Why should you invest in yourself? And what kind of people do? If you're a realtor, you're a newbie investor, maybe you're an experienced investor and you need to just pick up your game. Maybe you're looking to build generational wealth and you like your family, right? You want to leave them something. Maybe you want to build passive income. Or for me, you might be just looking for a change in life. I know we're the best program out there. I don't know anyone else that puts up the money. We're local. You know my story from making a bunch of money to losing everything and rebuilding myself. And the other thing I do on our 2-day quick start as a bonus, it's a 100% money back guarantee. How many of you guys love money back guarantees? Right? So when you do the 2-day quick start after the first day, you say, hey, Nish, it's not for me. It's not what it's advertised. I will gladly pay. I'll gladly refund you the money. I have no problem doing that. So again, you just have to be active for the full day. I am literally taking away all your excuses. I'm only looking for people, 6 people that really want to change their lives and are serious about building a real estate career. So if you take out your phone, again, if you actually, if you're a member, it's $8.95. Non-member, it's $8.95. If you're a member, it's $6.95. I know Vina put in the chat, it's $100 off if you use the code. That'll save you $100. So again, it's always a win-win when it comes to it. And now I see, we're almost out of time actually, which is so crazy. Yeah, look at that. So one person actually got paid to hang out today and they won a membership also from BPM RIA. And the winner is Aman Sarup. And I hope I'm saying that right. Aman Sarup. So you are our lucky membership winner, right? $295. Our team's going to reach out to you, get your membership all set up. For you now, it's already $595 if you when you sign up for our 2-day quick start. Again, we're starting to take 6 people for June, and it's already halfway through the year, right?
I'm
So,
just saying that was a $600 gift to him, the membership and the discount.
yep, for him, yeah, and everyone wins, right? As I said, like, what we're talking about, there's so many deals out there. Again, I would highly recommend if you guys are local, come Saturday to the event. It's limited seats. Let's see, again, you guys say you want to change your life. I know you wanted to change your life, and you got to go out there and take action. The idea of, hey, it's not the right time. And we always go through this all the time. It's never the right time to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself first. So, any last words, Harry, before we hop off?
Just plug in. You're in the right place. Do
Yep.
do your due diligence, and remember, this is not for us. This is for you. So
Yep.
you need to step up and do things for yourself.
Yeah, for the people that are new, because I see a lot of, check out our Google reviews. You'll see that I've been around forever. You can look up my bankruptcy, February 10, 2010. Again, we're 100% transparent. And actually, we do have an event tomorrow, another webinar with RBI Lending. So they're going to talk about some of the benefits of DSCR loans and hard money and how to really leverage your business. So tomorrow, that's for free. Also, the replay of today's webinar will be on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for everything. I love seeing you guys on the webinars. If you have any topics that you want me to cover, that would be great. And so I hope to see you tomorrow. And more importantly, I look forward to seeing you Saturday. And the rest of you guys that are not students, book a discovery call. Just go to BPM RIA, book a call, ask me all the tough questions, and let's see if you're a good fit for us and if I'm a good fit for you. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.